let's see here. Welcome. How you doing? Welcome to a new live stream. I need to get my mix just a little bit more cohesive for my ears. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Welcome. My name is John Limcool. This is our weekly hang live stream that we do. Talk about technology. We look at fun things for Unify. And it's a big day for Unify because it's got a new update. And so here, if I go over here to here and do some wiggling around, and I need to turn this off and let's see, off, and go to this camera, hello, and make this smaller. You're supposed to be up here in the corner like that. There. Unify is at 1.6, which means I can show you some really cool things that we have added in this free update. You can come to PlugInGuru.com to get the update. You can also go to, let's see if I go ilio.com/unify-updates. They also have the update files here that you can download. It's licensed, so if you don't have a license number, it's not of any use to you. But if you do have a license, then you have it up and running. I also want to point out, as you can see, I've supported hardware, and so the Wavestate is in the house today. I did original voicing for the factory patches in the Wavestate, and I decided, I got word of this update coming to 2.0 from my friends and family at Korg ahead of time. And so I hustled and bustled and converted 2 of my libraries to Wavestate format because I decided to support this. I haven't supported hardware before, so Mega Magic Dreams and Mega Magic Pads are both available for Wavestate. I'll show those to you today. There's some Omnisphere libraries. There's Evolution by Triple Spiral Audio. I'm going to show you that a little bit. For Omnisphere is out and available. It's really, really cool, more cinematic, mostly rhythmic. Also, Rocky Mountain Sound has Arcturus, which is a library from, well, yeah, he's a friend still. Kid Anthem, Alan Pauly did the library, and it's really cool. It's got some good stuff in it. Some really good Kid Anthem programming. I'm also going to show you there's a free plugin of a vinyl guitar. It's a guitar that he ran through processing and stuff. It's not multi-sampled and all that kind of stuff, but it's free, and it's a nice sound for certain types of production, all that kind of stuff. So we will take a look at that. Now Shane is not here, and I'm still kind of stuck. My my tower computer, good news is that the SSD drive was able to be repaired. I didn't lose any data. We upgraded it to a 2 terabyte SSD, and it's on NVMe, I believe is the bus. So it's like crazy fast. But I don't have USB-C on it, and my Apollo audio interface from Universal Audio just decided to stop working. Just sits there flashing a little green light, so I have to send it to Los Angeles this coming week. So I'm still using my laptop, and that means I have it over here, and then I have a monitor in front of me, and to see comments and stuff, I have to turn like this, which is not all that appealing. So I might not see a lot of your comments, and I apologize ahead of time, because I kind of, when I do these live streams, I kind of have a flow of stuff I want to talk about, and so I don't always sit and just read all the comments and all that kind of stuff. Welcome to you guys that are there. It's good to see names old and new. It's welcome to the family. This is the Plugin Guru family. You guys have your own conversations in the chat box, and it's recorded, so when the video plays back, be aware what you say is going to be seen by everybody for as long as this video is up. So watch what you say. We don't have moderators or any of that kind of stuff going on, but I will boot you if you're not nice. So anyway, so to start with, let's look at Unify 1.6, because this is a really nice update. We've had some features floating around for a little while where we were using hardware interfaces to enable and disable the layers. You know, you could, let's see if we now have changed where it's this little tiny, the MIDI activity lights. If you turn those off, just by clicking them, that layer goes blank. It's disabled so that it's no longer listening to MIDI data. And here, let's do this. Let's go init. The fun way to play with this, let's go to, let's take something from Cloud City. Let's take something from a couple different libraries. Let's say a BPM pad, like let's choose with this to start. But instead of this way, I'm going to hit init again, and I'm going to go over here and right click and say load into Unify as a new Unify layer. And I'm going to select this and say delete because I don't want this first layer. And what that did is it took all of these layers of Unify and loads them into a single Unify plugin on a layer, which is a super powerful thing that no other synthesizer can do. It's kind of like if Serum could load 5 or 6 of its own patches into itself. It can't. Unify can. So you can do load 24 because we have 24 layers, and you can make it larger if you go to the settings in the system to make it larger if your computer can support it. Now, on top of this, let's say we have a guitar. Let's have jazz guitars in space. I love that. And let's have some sort of another BPM pad. Here's a key pad. These are kind of fun. And let's do Intimate Angelic. So I have 3 different pads and different elements. And as you can see, I can turn them on and off. And, oh. And why are you doing that? Okay, well, maybe I won't show you this. I could play all 3. What's fun is you can be holding down sustaining notes, turn some of the layers off, it can be ringing out, turn on another layer when you're ready to play. Turn it down. Now in the video description for this live stream, we have added a set of presets. I asked Shane to make these and he put them together. And so we could do what's called the 3-part song switcher. You let me see here, if I go over here and hide everything. There's this little, where is it? It's not there, it's not there. It's not here. Maybe I have to download it myself. Hold on a second here. So if we go to, I put it into products, support files. So there is this file called the Unify 1.6 step curves. You drag this over Unify and install that way. Or for those of you that can't drag over Unify, you can go here and say select.guru file, go to the desktop, select it and load it. And what this does is it loads a patch into the user library. It's not into the factory library. We didn't incorporate into it because we did it at the last minute. But we have an ability in Unify 1.6 that's really fun. We can turn on and off those layers now by using knobs, by using keys on your keyboard to toggle if you want. There's all sorts of ways to set it up. There's an area online in the owner's manual that's online detailing how that works. You can get there. Go here, say Unify manual, and that will take you to the owner's manual, and you can go to MIDI and Live Performance and go to MIDI controller files, and it will talk about all the details of how it works. The second one is with complete control. I don't know if he has one here. We'll add if we haven't, but we'll get into the details about how it works with notes. There you guys are. Hello. You might want to switch up the sound from the. Switch up the sound from the music. I don't understand. I don't have music playing other than what I'm playing on the keyboard. I play what I know how to play. So what this does, interesting request. I'm gonna move that over, and I need to turn off the preview there to get a little bit more processing going. So with this file that you install into Unify, what it does, it gives you this preset called 3-song switcher, 3-part song switcher, just to show you the possibility of how you can have it. Oh, and in the video I just made, I changed. So let's go reveal in Finder. If we go to the user library, there is now a folder called Media. You need to have a folder called Media in the library where you have these text files. And in this text file, oh, it says intro, verse, chorus. Let's see here. So if that's the case, I should. Let's see here. I should be able to select, let's go save. Now we have this place right here where you choose what's called the variation file. Choose this, go update, there. So you have intro, verse, and chorus. That intro, verse, and chorus is in a text file that you saw. You could name each layer whatever you needed it to be for your song, and we have, basically you have to do this. You go to the link parameters, you have, let's see, we don't have this going on anymore. You have the variation file, and then you have this curve setup. And this is what Shane made that's part of this .guru file, that when you drag it over Unify, it installs. If you right click here and say load curve preset, we have this folder with all of these presets that Shane made. He's not here right now, by the way. He had to do some family things today. I think he'll be here for the second half, he said. It'll be cool if he shows up. But he made these. So basically, these are the variation files that you would choose here. Let's say we wanted it to be, instead of 3 steps, we want it to be 5 steps. Now it makes 5 steps. And then you'd have 5 layers, and each of the layers, you'd go to this and you would say, load curve preset. And for the first one would be step 1 of 5. So there it is. And then the second one, you'd go here and you'd right click in this curve and say load curve preset, and you'd say step 2 of 5. So this way it's going to go through and make each one. By doing this and using calculated curve presets like this, it will be perfectly precise when it's changing the curve preset, matching the text file of the variation. The variation is what cycles through the list of text files. And if you just do it by yourself, you'll end up where it's changing layers, but it hasn't changed the text yet. So by doing it this way, we were able to make it calculated and precise, so that as we do this, it changes from intro to verse to chorus, and the layers switch too. We also use this for the guitar phrases. When you get to this stuff, the variations is cool for things like this as well, where this is far more complex, where inside of Guru's sampler, there is now the ability to have the list of all the samples, and we can modulate that with a real-time control. So I've got controller 31 set up so that I can spin my knob on the wave state. I just went to this and I said, learn Midi, and move the wave state knob. Whatever knob you have on your computer or hardware interface, keyboards wise, you can set up. And by doing that, as you can see, it's perfectly synced so that I'm getting the phrases. Let's see if I can go down one more octave. It's playing. Turn down this a little bit. It's playing these phrases, and it tells you what chord progression it's going to be, so you can play it. If I go to another one, this is such a fun library to jam with. If you want to just chill and jam and use these for, I mean, they're great for songwriting as well as jamming. This library comes out next Thursday. That's the date of release for chill guitar phrases. And there's 61 different chill guitar phrases that you can cycle between just by using a controller, and it will tell you unlike most phrase libraries that you buy and you play them on your keyboard and you have no idea what key it's in, have no idea if there's going to be a chord progression or anything, I really wanted Unify to be able to tell you more information than that. So this is set up so when you choose this, now I'm playing from a 4-octave Wavestate. I don't have enough keys. I need more keys. And you know what's cool is like things like this where it's just one chord, you can play around it with getting relative chords that are part of it. So E flats and B flats and all sorts of other chords work even if it's just G minor, because once you anyway, it's so hard to have only 4 octaves of keys, man, I'll tell you. I'm used to at least 5 octaves of keys. So this is another example where if you go into the library and you go to the media folder, check this out, media folder, there is a text file. And in that text file, it starts with all samples because that's the first option in Guru Sampler. Below that is 61 lines that each have, and if I was to change this instead of 1, if I was to call this phraseology number 1 and save this, next time I call up these grooves and I cycle to number 1, it's now called phraseology number 1. So the text file can say whatever you want it to say that you want it to show in Unify when it gets to that variation. So, and it's for both and modulating between layers, you can do that, or you can have it modulate between sample layers or different settings with the parameters inside of Unify. I mean, there's all sorts of fun ways to use this to create variations. It's a wide open book. We just developed it, got the concept solid enough to share with you, but it's definitely something that can go all sorts of crazy places because you can make stair steps of modulation, assign that to filter cutoffs, to effect mixes, to all sorts of things. And one other thing that's a cool trick I want to show you. If you go to the link parameters, and if you load up, let's say, for example, let's say we do the 4 curves. I want to show you that you can hold down Option and click and change these so that you can have them bounce around to different places in the curve settings for these, so that by holding down Option, it won't go out of the time track. It stays in the same spots, so that way it will still be accurate, but by holding down Option, you can change it to where the order is played with and changed if you want. And as you can see, look up there inside of the variation window here, it's accurately telling me C minor, E flat 7, so C minor, E flat 7, boom. So I know for sure, because when you're moving modulation sources inside of the link parameters, it's telling you what's going on. So you can get exactly precise, okay? So that's a pretty cool feature right there. Yeah, I can't read about that. What keyboards do you use? What MIDI keyboards do I use? I have probably 20 different keyboards because I have programmed sounds for Korg synthesizers for almost 30, actually 32, 19, what was it, 1988, over 30 years. So I have all sorts of keyboards here. There's an 88 note Yamaha behind me. There's tons of keyboards up against the wall. There's a DX7. There's a Kronos 2. All sorts of keyboards. That's don't worry about what I use. It's oh good, I'm glad people are enjoying the Wavestate videos. I'll talk about those when we get there. I'm gonna show you one more feature that's really, really cool. There's other ones. If you go to, let's see here, new, oh, I gotta come over here, change log. This is the change log which lists all of the updated features in Unify 1.6 that have changed from 1.5.3. It's pretty healthy. We do now do a really cool thing that I should also show you, and that is that, well, there's a video I just released, so watch that. But all of the macro knob names now show up as the names for automating inside of your DAW. So instead of seeing macro knob 1 through 32, you actually see lanes that says filter cutoff minus. And if you double click and change this name, it will update it and show it in your DAW as a different name. So you can name things as you go. It's really, really nice. Other things, we do now have the parameter paths. We got them to be insensitive. What that means is that if you go to the link parameters, a lot of times for certain parameters, Shane has used names that use capitals in interesting places. It's kind of part of the nomenclature of a programmer, so to speak, right? These are all unified layers, right? So I'm not going to get too far. Maybe the first one, you go replace instrument 1, Guru sampler. See these names, how they have the capitalized letters in different places? It's no longer sensitive to that. So if you say filter velocity sense and you don't use the capital V and the capital S, it will work. Doesn't matter now. In the past, it used to be that the filter was small caps, then you had to use a capital V and a capital S. And I'm like, that's a hard thing to remember, because this program, it's an actual technique in computer programming. It's not just willy-nilly, but that's the way it's done. For the first thing not to be large caps, and then for other things to be, when you're dividing between the words, to divide it up with a large cap letter. It's insensitive to that now, so that it doesn't pay attention to that when you're typing. Because if you want, you can go over here to the parameters list and you could say, give me a new, well, we don't have the add from blank anymore. We took that away when we added variation. But if you double click variation, you can say, I think like instrument 1. I didn't type it right. But if you go instrument, what was it? It was filter velocity sensitivity. If you go over here, you can type the name of what you wanted to modulate. Filter. Oh, did I? Nope, it didn't do it right. Oh, I'm doing a really good job explaining and showing this, huh? Velocity filter SENS. SENS. That should work. Well, okay. Well, I'm making a nice mess of this. Velocity vel filter vels. Anyway, you could type in the names, and it doesn't matter if it's large caps or small caps. The patch variation display, I was showing you that. Transport, this was important for this coming library because I want to have a groove start down here, right? On the transport page, this starts the clock and stops the clock. And above that, I don't want any of this to start the clock. Even if it's BPM or whatever, it's playing to the tempos of itself. And it's following this tempo, but it hasn't started the clock until I hit down low C. And I can start and stop it now, even while I'm sustaining notes up above, because this key range now respects and totally ignores any other notes outside of the range that you set up. So this way it makes it so it works that you can play whatever you want, then when you're ready, have the groove take off, right? I should point out also in this library that's really fun, I've got it set up so that the top is the guitar phrases, then the next line is going to be a drum groove, next line is the bass, and the next line is the right hand. So you can double click to open this layer. I worked with Shane so that it selects libraries now when you save a unified layer, which means if I was to go to Discover Station, and let's say I was to add the, let's say just a BPM string, just as an example, say load this into Unify as a layer. If I open up this layer, it selects Discover Station. And if I go to this other layer and I say, boom, it's going to select guitar phrases. So whatever library that the patch came from, it now automatically selects it. So you're no longer, it used to be in versions before this, it would be at all libraries. And when you have 20,000 patches, that's not very helpful. And since we had in the past gotten it to where it was actually selecting the patches, right? But it wasn't selecting the library. So it was just a little bit more work to get it to where it also, when you do this, the reason I want it to do this is this. So I have a groove here, right? You can double click this drum layer, and now you're in all the drum grooves that come with this library. Choose another one just by clicking on it. And because it's a layer at this point, you can right click and add multiple layers together to make a more complex groove. I could go over to Noise Box or Big Bad Beats. Let's say I wanted to add like, oh, Matrix is really cool. So let's add a couple loops from the Matrix. Let's say load into Unify. Now, in this case, I made a mistake because I want to have it be up here. I need to be not playing to transpose and double click to put it back to normal. There. So you can build up the groove in really cool ways, and it's all within a unified layer ready to go. Same with the bass. If you don't like the bass, it opens the chill phrases, and there's all these other. I'll be making probably another 10 basses this week. And then the right hand, really cool FM-y, but not like, hey, I'm FM, right? But there's all of these different pads and keyboards. Right? So you can go with this library and like change out the presets really easily for the different categories of drums, bass, and the right hand. So it makes it very Lego block oriented and easy to play with, right? So that's the layout for this library. And all this is happening because we have these new enhanced abilities inside of Unify 1.6. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't. It's really hard, as you can see, for me to turn over here and like stop talking. And it's very nice when Shane is here in the chat. I do agree. That's what our forum is for. So if you have specific questions that you need answers to, I want to point out at this moment that we have a place to discuss all this kind of stuff right here at forums.pluginguru.com, and you can post any questions you have, and the community is very nice at chatting and sharing information. Shane is there, I'm there times. That's where answers can be. You can also email us if you're having problems with this specific update. If there's something that we're pretty solid as far as what we've been able to tell from our beta testers and everybody working with it. But Unify support at pluginguru.com is an email address. You can send us an email for us to help. It's also available on the Plugin Guru webpage. Let's see here if I go. If you go to the Plugin Guru website, there's a contact page right here. You can use that to get to us and send us a contact email as well. So sorry that I'm not able to sit here and read all the chat. Like I said at the beginning, Shane's not here, and I didn't get anybody in place. I'm going to probably have Taylor help in the future if Shane can't, because it's not fair to count on Shane being here every time. That's not his job, you know, to take his Saturdays away all the time. It's nice, it's wonderful that he does that, and it's really appreciated. But you know, he's a developer that works with my website and has helped make Unify, and he's part of our family for sure, but he's not required to be here every Saturday. That's not a requirement. Can you show an easy song that you make and then go into the tools in Unify and show what will impact what you've recorded? Yeah, I will do that as a separate video. My agenda doesn't work to do that today. Especially writing a song. I don't have any song written, and so to have you guys watch me write a song is not very attractive. Yeah. I'm trying. It's kind of like juggling cats, right? Anyway, so those are the main things. The one other one that I wanted to show you with 1.6 that's really important. We all have lots of plugins. I'm going to show you a free plugin. In fact, I could do that right now because it kind of ties in nicely with this. For the vinyl guitar library from Echo Soundworks. So let's do this. Let me initialize. Go over here and go to Echo Soundworks Vinyl Guitar. It is a plugin. It's not a library for Kontakt. I think this is his first library like this. That's a plugin. He recorded it out to tape, so it's not perfect, and there's no multiple samples, unfortunately. There is another variation where it's a single string. I believe that's what's happening here. There's reverb, attack, release, some velocity. You can add a separate sample for pick noise. But it's free, and you know, in certain cases, if you've got a cool groove going, you need a. Here, let's do this. Let's go copy this layer preset. Let's go to chill guitar phrases, and I'm gonna just call up, let's say 85 beat per minute Eternal Sunshine, and then I'm gonna option delete these two. And then go over here to layer, and because I copied that into its buffer, I can just say paste layer, and then I'm going to right click on the low note and say start at C sharp, so I have guitar, and I have the drum group with guitar. And so now I can play it. It's nice. It sounds nice in the mix, is what I wanted to show. Now, this guitar, vinyl guitar, is a VST3 only plugin because Echo Soundworks is late to the game in developing plugins. Steinberg no longer gives out VST2 licenses to new developers, only VST3. So they don't have permission to make a VST2 plugin, only VST3. And there's more and more companies, Roland, they had this happen with their plugins, or else they decided, I don't know if it was their decision to do it that way or not, but the things that you can buy in the Roland Cloud are all VST3. And all of our libraries, we prefer VST2 when possible because it's the most compatible between PC and Mac, most stable, compatible, just works. But the list of VST3 only plugins is growing, and it's just gotten kind of confusing. I've never been able to have all of the VST3 plugins installed because those I have to manually install one at a time. My path, the way I've done this in the past is to go to known plugins and say scan VST plugins, and then when I needed VST3 plugins, I would use select file plugins to scan, where you could go to the VST3 folder and go down the list and then select the VST3 plugins that I know I don't have as VST2, and it never was like 100%, right? Well, now you can make it 100%. You can go to operations, you can scan all your audio units, all your VST, all your VST3. By doing that, let's add VST3 really quick. So I'm going to say scan VST3. Oh, we'll see how fast it goes. This computer is pretty quick, so it's, I had a crash, and it's starting again. You'll see it start over every now and then. Certain plugins will crash still the scanner, but what's nice with our scanner is it's in the background. I can still be... right? So it's almost done. What this does, by doing this, I'm going to have doubles. You're going to see when I get to the, okay, so, okay, close. Now when I go to my plugin list down here, all sorts of things you see, I see VST, VST3, right? Sublab, anything that, like, here's break isotope, there's VST, VST3, right? But if I go to like Roland, there's only these because there was no VST2 version. So they are properly there. But there's other cases where I have both VST and VST3. Omnisphere. We now have the ability, after you've scanned all your plugin formats, to use this remove redundant plugins option. And by using this, it will remove first audio units if there's a VST2 version, and then it will remove VST3 versions if there's a VST2 versions, but it will keep audio unit and VST3 if there isn't a VST2 version. So say, okay, done. So if I go to my format list, I've got the built-in plugins that we've been and designed. Here's VST, and then at the bottom of the list are all these VST3 plugins that were added that there's no VST2 version for. So all of these, the Fab filters, all the Roland Cloud, Rhizomatics, Plasmonic is VST3 only. He also couldn't get a VST2 license. So now I have all my plugins available inside of Unify. If I go to the list and I look at like Spectrasonics, there's only one Omnisphere. There's not two anymore. It got rid of the doubles. If I go to, where's the one for Sublab? That was Future Audio. There's only one Sublab. It got rid of the doubles of everything. So it streamlines it, but it keeps the ones that it doesn't have a duplicate for as a VST or a VST3. So now I have every plugin on my computer available for Unify to play with. So that's a cool feature right there, because it makes it so you know you have all your plugins to work with, right? So hope that makes sense. Can I show how the new, there's not really any new features in our save dialog. There is this right here, which is for selecting a variation file. And that's only pertinent to patches where you have it, that you need to have a variation file. You can ignore that otherwise. Otherwise, it's save as to save a new file, update to overwrite an existing file. You can't overwrite protected licensed files. You need to save as a new, to save it as a new file, even with the same name. There's no new features to Unify 1.6 on the save page. So that's the way it is. Okay, so 1.6, it's out. The guitar library comes out next Thursday. I've got more patches and demos and all sorts of stuff. If you write demo songs and would like to write a demo song using these, and you can send me to some SoundCloud links that show your musical background. I need people that are professional musicians that write good music. Write to unifysupport@pluginguru.com. Get me a SoundCloud link. I pay for demos. It's not just a free thing. It's not a lot of money, but it's something for your time. I'd like to have a couple demos written by a couple people that know what they're doing, can take these and use them in cool styles. Chill is the library, but maybe it can go also into an urban pop kind of thing. You know, these, I'm kind of aiming this at that. I've got a lot of drum grooves and stuff that are designed all sorts of. I'm including in the library the Skippy 808 drum kit, which I released for 808 Day. So that will be included along with an updated version of the down-tempo thriller kit that's in Cloud City. I remapped everything so that it all follows the same mapping, which means I've also, as you can see, I've split it to 3 layers. So you have the kick, snare, and then the hi-hats and percussion on the 3rd layer. So you can, so if you want this kick to be a different sampler, playing a different sample, all you have to do is go here, go to your favorite drum plugin, whatever you want to use. If you want a different snare, same thing. If you want, you can right click and or say delete, and then if you go to MIDI box, I've note range limited the grooves. But if you take it all to the full keyboard range, now I can go through. If I change to the different kits, they play different sounds depending on what kit you call it, right? And then this is set up with a stack so you can right? So there's all sorts of grooves and fun ways to work with grooves in this library. I really wanted to make it flexible and cool. So if you go here and change the drum kit, happy accidents. Somebody will use that. If you go over here and say duplicate this. All sorts of crazy things to get cool musical. I could do videos on just alternative percussion from synthesizer sounds, because you can go here to pitch, go here and say random. There's so many places to get wacky, it's not even funny. So that kind of happy accident stuff can happen. Right? Anyway, so this library will be coming out on next Thursday. So I'm really excited for that. Okay, hey, let's change to the Wavestate for a minute. This is a really cool synthesizer. I worked, let's see, I need to turn this off. Don't need text edit. Need OBS, or you guys won't have anything going on. Yes, email is Unify support, one word, Unify support at PlugInGuru.com. There you go. So if I need to go to OBS really quick to make sure that I'm seeing this right. Let's go. I don't have any pre-scenes. I need to say make another one. Let's remove that one. And let's duplicate this one. And for this one, we'll take this and make it big. There. All right. So this is Wavestate. And here I can actually go over here and turn this on, so you can see what's going on. This is a Blackmagic ATEM Pro. I have multiple cameras on HDMI inputs that I can cycle between. Right now only 2, but I actually have 4 cameras that I'll have going on in here eventually. But I've worked as a sound designer for Korg since 1988. I've worked on the original Wave Station. I did samples, patches, wave sequences, all sorts of things with that. The O&W, T-Series, Triton, Trinity, Oasis, O1W, Kronos 2, all the wave drums, lots and lots of synthesizers. The Wave Station had the Wave Station AD, and the Wave Station SR. I made multiple kits using just the 10 buttons on the front panel of the Wavestation SR. That's crazy, because you look at how deep a Wavestation is and realize I just had buttons to push, and we did multiple cards, stuff like that. So I'm very familiar with architecture of wave sequencing. The original Wavestate, I worked on the voicing 2 years ago, and we used our own software that was developed by Korg, but it was different than what we now have with this update. They have done a wonderful job of adding 2 applications here. If I go to this screen here, they've added 2 wonderful programs. There's Wavestate Editor Librarian, which can grab all of the information that's inside of your current Wavestate, call it up so that it's playing. Oh, I need to go to Logic now and enable audio. There. Okay, so this is stuff for Mega Magic Dreams and Mega Magic Pads. I've converted 2 libraries to this format, which is pretty cool. Then here's all the ones that are in Wavestate. And what's fun is there's now this editor tab right here. You can see that. Oh, you can't see it. Let me make this just a little bit smaller. Let's see here. I got to actually make this a little bit smaller like that. There. Make this bigger down here. Okay, so there's now an editor tab that will take you into the patch and show you in a, we had a far more difficult interface for software-based programming of the Wavestate 2 years ago. This is a completely different program, completely different interface, and it's wonderful to use. Each layer, you can see the wave sequence is happening. You've got access to the filters. There's 4 LFOs, 4 envelopes. All the stuff that's inside the Wavestate. There's nothing new added to Wavestate, but this Editor Librarian lets you see what's inside of it. So you can open this up and go, oh, this is using 2 layers, 1 layer, and then the other layer. Put the 2 together. I can show you some of the things that I created. There's one that I really love that a lot of people like, the Iceland Piano Pad, which is using wave sequencing and one thing that's really cool is if you look at these names on some of the layers, let's see, that's dulcers and stuff like that. But here you see Safe Place, Dream Ensemble, Denali Cello. These are all PlugInGuru samples that are inside of Wavestate. Korg licensed almost 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes of samples from my libraries that are inside Wavestate. So it's just an honor to have something that came out so nice. So you have these patches, and now you can hit edit and see what's going on, what makes. And the real unique thing with the Wavestate and the Wavestation is this heart of the machine right here called wave sequencing. This is where there is a list of what samples it's going to use, and you have different timing for when it changes from one sample. See how it's changing between the samples? You can have pitch. Right? And then you have shape. I don't know if I have shape turned on for this. I do. So if I open this up, You can click and drag for all these different shapes that it forces the sound to go through. And then what's really cool with the Wavestate 2 that they added is that when you select one of these boxes, there is parameters for this box as far as to the offset, the level, the phase, but also probability. So if I bring this down to 20%, now it's only going to play that phrase, that little blip, blip, blip. There, it did it for the first time. So by using probability, you can have it so you put weird pitches in here. Say that I have like the 9, right? Bring down the probability to like 25%. And now it'll only play that every now and then. Right? So it's really cool to have this kind of easy, wonderful interface to work with for programming the Wavestate. On top of this, they have a separate program that you can download called Sample Builder. It's very basic, but it allows you, if I go over here and say open a bank, let's see if it keeps track. Here's the Mega Magic pads. Oh, I gotta tell it where a sample is. This needs pad Destiny, all C1, so pads, go by alphabetical names, Destiny. Oh, Pad Destiny, that's in Dreams. No, I went back to pads, didn't I? Silly me. Dreams. You have to show it where one thing is. Sometimes it gets a little lost. So pads, Destiny, all. Oh. See, I might not have that because that's something else I was working on. Anyway, it loads up the multi-sounds, so you can open them up in the multi-sample editor. You can see that you can have, well, this is just a single sample. If I get to one of the pads, like Battleborn or something like this, it can have multiple samples across the keyboard. You play them, you hear it playing from my computer audio, and then you can send this bank over to the Wavestate. So you now have 4 gigabytes of sample memory in the Wavestate. So I decided to support it with 2 of my libraries. So at the top of the list here, you see Mega Magic Pads is here. I can choose this and the samples, some of these samples are in Wavestate. There was a lot of additional voicing work done. Things were looped. The beginning of samples were removed to make them smaller in space. So they are different in some respects. They sound the same when you put them into a patch, but the samples themselves are not the same. Some things have changed to some of them. So even if you see the same name or similar names, it's really cool. I had a customer just write and say the Guitartronic was worth the price of Mega Magic Pads by itself. And I have a 1 and a 2 because 2 is bypassing the attacks. So it's just a pad. Right? So Mega Magic Dreams is a different library in that it's samples that have lots of long reverb, but it's a single sample across the whole keyboard. There's synth sounds from Maxwell. Hello, Maxwell over here. There's all sorts of really cool instruments and keyboard sounds. Some of these sounds are inside of Unify. Quite a few of them. My favorite sounds, but not all of them. I'm saving that for a future thing I'm working on for Unify. But inside I hear you. One guitar sample, and it's really cool. It becomes its own instrument. It doesn't sound like a guitar anymore. It's just got this really nice reverb to them. I don't know about that impression on the Wavestate working with Apple more than Windows. It's built, the software, the editors are built in Juice, so they can be exported to both PC and Mac. Oh, there's communication problems. One of the big things to check with the Wavestate, let me see here if I can get the visual here to work. If you go to this view, I think I go to here. If you go to the, well, so there's a couple communication things you have to be aware of. One thing, you have to make sure that you update to version 1.0.6 before you upgrade to before 2.0. And there's some settings in the utility for setting up, let's see if I go shift. The second page, there's this thing called the USB network. It has to be set to NCM because the Wavestate actually is talked to by computer through network protocol. And maybe that's where the problem is with Windows 10, because I don't know I don't know how good Windows 10 is when it comes to network protocol, things like that. But remember, this is version 2.0. I think they've released 2.0.1. If there are issues, write to Korg, let them know. They will be, of course, working to make it work if it's not working. On PC, man, there are so many extensions and DLLs and different files that can be conflicts with getting stuff to work. It's far more complex. The Mac, it's a very simple hierarchy, and there's priorities to certain things that are not the same on the PC. I can tell you that from experience. We have all sorts of challenges with certain DAWs, scaling and showing the graphics of Unify differently. And it's crazy. We pull our hair out trying to solve these problems. Shane works so hard at it, and it's confusing. So just talk to Korg, because I'm not Korg tech support, and I'm not here to say anything one way or another other than to just show you what's available and hope it works for you. And if it doesn't, getting a hold of Korg tech support should hopefully help get it to work for you. Do they use the wave sequence? I didn't use the wave sequence lanes. I did. Now there is 10 bonus patches. If we go to collection, there's Mega Magic Dreams, and then there's 10 bonus patches that are using the wave Mega Magic Dreams in different ways. All the wave sequence lane does, let's see, are you talking the step sequence lanes? I don't even know what you're talking about in that thing, but oh, hey, Shane's here. Yay, Shane. So yeah, there's 10 bonus patches for different applications and so forth. There's also 10 bonus patches for Mega Magic Pads. They're different. And I'm using wave sequence lanes. These are each different lanes, so yes, I am, but I don't know what you're talking about exactly. Digging up the past is fun. I mean, they're all kind of fun stuff to play with them. This has a wave sequence. One thing to realize is inside of Wavestate are all the wave station wave sequences. So if you go, I think C is the one of the wave sequences from many years ago. I don't remember if I made that one or not. I think Jack Hotop made that one. Ready to Fly. So there's bonus patches that I'll give you just a comparative. In the factory voicing, I think I have maybe 40 some patches, and it took over 8 months to make those. And I made 20 bonus patches in a week, along with converting everything in the two libraries into Wavestate format. So the editor is much, much better than what I had to work with back in the day, because it took, there's some keyboard and some really cool different sounds. So anyway, these two libraries are available at my website. How did I pull my Mega Magic sounds into the Wavestate? Well, you use what's called their sample builder program. And you have to go to the multi-samples page and you say import wave files. And let's see, go here to the, say I did Mega Magic Dreams. This is a single sample across the keyboard. So let's say we choose like Magic Pluck, the wave files, which some of the libraries give you the wave files. Some libraries do not, that I've created for different formats. Like the one for Serum, you get wave files. No, I don't think you do. I think they're embedded into patches. But I have all the wave files, of course, to everything. And then I would name it, and then you have to save it to the hard drive as a multi-sound. And at that point, then it shows up in Sample Builder, and you do this over and over again for 102 samples. And then you can send it over to the Wavestate and program it and make patches. The video I just released, the second one, the deep dive into the Wavestate, towards the second half, I put chapters in so Daniela would be happy. There's a place where I go into going about Sample Builder and how to shoot samples over, and that they don't show up in the editor, or you can't play them after you sent the samples over until you go to the editor and you go to init performance, and then you would go down here and change this to single multi-sample, and then you go over here and you would find the samples in the collection, which is up here, down here. So if I wanted to have, say, that one Mega Magic Dreams, that was the bell, like harmonics, right? So let's see. Select. Now I can play it. Now I have to save it as a performance. And then I also would right click here and save it as a program. So you have every patch of Mega Magic Dreams and Mega Magic Pads is available as a performance and as a program. Because as a program is really, really cool. Because if you click up here, you can choose program. You could go to the collections, Mega Magic, let's say Dreams. So we want to play here. Let's say DI Dreaming. Go to layer B, go to this tab, choose a different program. It could be a different Mega Magic Dreams patch. And then Korg also went through and saved every part of every performance as a separate program. So if you want, you can go to Wavestate. It's really cool. They kept the name of the author, so I can go to my stuff that I've created and go to UniChill. If I want something crazier, there's all sorts of crazy things here. So you can use the Mega Magic Pads or the Mega Magic Dreams programs to build up your own performances by loading just single patches at a time from here. In the extensive deep dive, I also teach you guys that there's also a wave sequence page right here for loading the wave sequences. Every single lane has the ability to load lane presets, so you can get into making your own patches in Wavestate pretty easy. It's very, very deep. Okay? So, thank you, Fuzz Tone. Woo! Right on, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, yeah, that's the thing. There's the two libraries. So I've shown you Unify 1.6, or yeah, I've shown you the Wavestate. I showed you the free plugin. There's one set of stuff still to show you. We're not done, guys. And that is to turn this off, say thank you Logic, and go back to Unify. There's, oh, I don't even have Unify running right now. So let's get Unify back up into the fold. There is two libraries available for Omnisphere that have Unify components that are really, really cool. To start with, Jason Schopfer, who I believe he's still driving. I don't think he's here yet. Yeah. So just to be clear, anything that we're doing with the software editor librarian program for the Wavestate, those capabilities are built into the Wavestate, but you have to use this interface. And I never did learn the interface of the Wavestate. So to have an editor that shows you everything like this, and to get ever and maneuver and navigate, it's just easier with software in some cases like this, where, you know, to be quite honest, the cost of the panel being shrunk so small. Let's see if I go here so you can see. Go to here. This small panel to be the feedback that you get for what settings are for the most. You do have some here as far as changing things, and the visual here is helpful. But some of the more complex, intricate parts of the Wavestate, it's a deep concept to keep in your mind when you have just a small interface like this. So it's very nice that the software now exists that simplifies that and puts it in front of you like that. Anyway, so there's two libraries. Let me show you their links really quickly. If I go over here, bring this over here. So the two libraries, you can click the photo banner and go here to where you see they're purple. We got them in purple color. They're $10 off for each of the libraries, and more than that off if you buy the bundle of the two. For $59, you can get both of them. They come as a single sample bank file, so it's easy to send over to the Wavestate, all of them. If you buy these two separate, you have to build your own bank file from the two. It's a little bit more involved to do so. I also want to point out, this is only for this weekend. Here, let me make sure I come over here really quickly, and I'm going to log in. I don't want to give you the wrong stuff. It's Labor Day weekend, and I have a special promotion going on for giving everybody a $10 bill towards your cart purchase, and it can include Unify. So it's one of the very few times where you can save a little bit on Unify during this 3-day weekend sale. The promo code is save me $10, please. Here, I'll put that into our discussion. Unify is not on sale. It's still $79, but here is one of the first times I have offered a way to save a little bit on it to celebrate Unify 1.6 coming out. For people that are on the fence, if you want to jump into the Unify waters, it's really, really fun. There's so many people write to me telling me it's a game changer, and I believe it's that way too, and I'm glad to hear it from others. So these two libraries, Rocky Mountain Sounds has released Arcturus, which is done by Alan Pauly. Kid Anthem was what he was previously known as when he did libraries here at PlugInGuru.com. And it's a really nice library with a whole bunch of cool sounds. I can show you some of those. There's the other library is from Triple Spiral Audio from Yop. This is a really nice library with 100 presets, 25 multis, using 115 sound sources. The samples are very large, more cinematic in nature. So when you're playing between the two libraries, you'll notice this is like just a bunch of really cool usable There's really nice pads. BPM pad. Right down at the end of the list, all these, I mean, there's keys forever. There's some nice guitars, pads. There's all these bonus patches that they included that are really cool. And because it's Omnisphere on multiple layers, it's using multiple cores, so it's more efficient. Some really, really cool stuff. Okay, now if we compare this to Triple Spiral Audio's library, this is much more cinematic, things that you would be using for, and it really lends itself to layering and let's go to BPM bass. Did I do double of basics? Let's pan these left and right. It's a very different vibe, so it's, you know, that's what's nice with libraries is they give you a whole different personality. Guitar. Now, these are the bonus patches. I don't know why it's doing that. Bonus patches for Omnisphere and Unify. I mean, these are the patches for Unify, but you still have to own Omnisphere to play these libraries, right? Unify can't play Omnisphere patches without owning Unify, so you have to own Unify. But everything in this library, I believe, is BPM based. I don't know why my computer's pooping out today, but it's... Can't wait to get my tower back. Hopefully next week. I've got a USB-C PCI card going in on Monday, and then I can talk to my USB-C audio interfaces that I have. I've got a Focusrite one here that I'm using for the live stream. So 2 libraries for Omnisphere coming out. This one's out now, one's sort of out, but I don't know how to. I mean, it's out now. It's available on his website. So, oh, notify when available. Okay, so it's coming out next week. Arcturus is not out yet. I believe it will be $39 when it comes out. Right now, Triple Spiral Audio has Evolution for Omnisphere 2 for $20 on sale instead of $25 as its retail. They both have wonderful Unify components. They both have a whole different planet to present to you. And again, what's really fun, right-click and add a coupling to Unify. And then set these up to where you like give them a key range. And let's go over here and go to BPM bass, or yeah, let's go BPM bass. And let's say like conceal, and then have that one set the top note, right click and choose it to be. And because they're unifying layers, you can open this up and go to other patches if you want. Not only that, but if I wanted, I could right click on the second one and add it as a Unify layer into this embedded Unify layer. So I could even go to any other library or any other plugin. I could go to the BPM basses here. Let's say BPM bass and say we want to add the 8th note to this. Boom. So I've added something from the PlugInGuru standard library to 2 Omnisphere patches inside of this bass layer. So and on top of this, I can now go to the standard library, BPM drums. Let's go to like, Jakarta Groove. And then go to another library. Tension's building. And then if I want, turn off a couple parts. Crazy real-time live fun stuff with Unify that you can't do any of this with any other plugin that I know of. To load up multiple patches into existing patches is just super fun. So those libraries are really cool and they fit right into everything else is great with Unify. So there you go. So I'm gonna cut it right there. Any questions? If you have any questions, I can answer. Let me look here and see. I'm waiting to see if there's any questions. I'll give you guys just a couple seconds. How many patches come with Unify Standard? 570 patches come with Unify Standard. We give you, I want to be like 10 times what the price is. We have all sorts of really cool things. Vocoding. We have Combo Box in Unify, which allows you to embed plugins into really cool, unique configurations. Again, I can right click and say, give me another vocoder patch. I can open up that layer, go deep diving. There's a drum groove that's muted. There's so many places within the voicing of this library to go. One thing that I get lost playing these forever are the latch splits where you have, let's see if I go up a couple octaves. I'm using latch to latch the environmental rain. There's other things like Meaning of Life where the bass is latched. Just play a note. And now the right hand is for soloing, so Never Solution is like bass drone Nirvana. And then up top. I mean, these are things you can't do with other plugins. Some have latch and so forth, but you have to set them up, turn things on and off. It can't be saved in a state where you just call it up and latch works like this. And if I want, I could go to other patches. I could go to another groove. Let's go to something more dreamy. So we could go to, let's see, do I have the chill library in here? Yeah, I do. Oh, Unify Lo, you see Lo-Fi? That's something else that Matthias is working on that made UniChill. So we could go to the BPM drums, and there's all these cool grooves. We could say, load this into a new Unify layer, hit stop, so that we restart it. Wrong tempo. Let's add another groove on top of it. And that's still sitting there waiting. It's really, really fun. And again, now we have the ability to turn off layers, so I can turn off the drums. So stuff like that is just fun. There's all sorts of ideas inside of the factory voicing that other plugins just dream that they wish they could play. So it's really fun to have something that's kind of like out of the box like this that does such cool things. Oh, thank you, Steve. That's nice. Thank you. Okay, I think we have an interesting discussion over in chat, but I'm not going to jump in. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys showing up. Let's build one more thing. Let's start with something like this. I'm going to go over to Unify. I'm going to add Midi box. I'm going to click. I want to load a sequence. This is from libraries, Unify the standard library to Midi files. I want to add one of the polychord. Let's say 4. Let's bring down the velocity and bring up the velocity offset. This will expand the velocity range. So it's taken a single Midi file, it's playing this, and Midi box has the unique ability that I don't know anybody else that can do this, but we're playing it polyphonically now. So it's playing that Midi file. So I'm gonna go to another patch on top of this. Let's go to a BPM pad. I need to get a kick into this. Let's do this. I need to get everybody else to be a little bit softer, so hold down Option. And then on top of this, let's say I want to go to Cloud City. I want to add some percussion. Let's go BPM perc. I want to add, let's say, the ankle shells. And I want to add an eggshell. And I want it to be smaller, thinner. So I'm going to go to Unify to the sampler, and I'm going to tune it up. And instead of a low pass filter, I'm going to use a high pass. Just to really make it nice and sizzly. And then let's go for some congas. Or let's go to the World Kit. The BPM, this kit, things are a whole groove from a drum kit. It's kind of fun. And let's go to a bell kind of a pad. I want to go BPM bell. Oh, Glowing Sun Goddess. We got to add that to it because I love Glowing Sun Goddesses. So I'm building from, let's go to another library. Let's go to, hey, let's go to Evolutions. Let's add a synth to this. I don't even know if this will work, but what the heck, I have to live dangerously. And if it doesn't work, because I loaded it as a Unify layer, I can go through and that's kind of cool. Let's take it down an octave. If I hold down Option, I can transpose it down an octave with just one click. And to make it have more weight, let's go to the reverbs and add like Zenverb, because this has some really cool stuff to let's have the crossover EQ. Then I need something bassy to like hold it down. So let's see here. I think Cloud City would be a good place to go for BPM bass. City deep bass line, let's try that. Let's take it down an octave. There we go. But I don't want it to play up here, so I'm gonna right click and say stop at E. And the same with the Omnisphere thing that I was doing that. Boom! How fun! Listen to how tight it is. I can't stress what is so incredible with Unify is how it can be in such complete masterful control of so many different plugins from so many different companies. And you're playing it live. A DAW gets to sit there and calculate and figure it out. This has to do it live. That's just crazy. Thank you for joining for this live stream. Hope this was fun for you guys. What is happening with Unified Prophecy? We'll have to look into that. Yeah, we'll look into that. I didn't show the keyboard. Sorry. I do love improvising on the fly. All right, here's the keyboard. I'm really into that progression today. It's a Wang Chung from Points on the Curve. F minor, G minor, A flat, B flat, C minor. I mean, geez, Jacob Collier is like 10 generations above my improvising skills. So, but thank you, it's nice. I know what I like to play, and that's what I actually want to get a piano teacher, I think, to get some new chords, have my fingers do new things and what they're comfortable and used to doing. But anyway, thank you so much. Nice. Yeah, I went for the end. I don't know where I'm going. Whatever I do, I always end up in C or D minor or A minor. Those are like my favorite chords, key progressions. Back to C. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope this helped you guys. Don't forget, there's the free guitar. I'll put it into the video description. It's not there right now, but Echo Soundworks has the vinyl guitar. We could add that to this. This would be fun. So we could go add a new, if you want to add any of your plugins to something that you have going on, just add an empty layer, go operations, go Echo Soundworks, guitar. Reverb solo. Hold down Option and click the transpose to go down an octave quickly. Let's go over here to reverb. Let's dreamy it out with a little water verb. 97. Fun. Again, 1.6 we can do stuff like this. So we can go, I don't want the bass. I don't need that. So I have Sun Goddess and the guitar. And then I could go through. This is where I need hardware to do this really fast. So that's what's fun, is once you have a whole bunch of layers, you can now use the little button over here to turn off layers. We got to go over here to Cloud City. Let's get to the hip kit. Let's say load this. Not that one, this one. That's what's so fun. Who knows where you will end up when you're playing with Unify? You can go all sorts of crazy journeys. Okay, I really have to stop. I can just be here all day. When is a guitar library? That is only Unify released. It's released next Thursday. That is the day it will be out. Wednesday night at 12:01 a.m. I hope. And again, if you write demos, if you're a professional musician, you can send me to your SoundCloud link and show me music that is really gonna be nice work. I will pay you to do a demo. I need a couple of nice demos. And so Unify support at PlugInGuru.com. Send me a link to your SoundCloud. Tell me what kind of music you like to do. I want chill, but I also want to do some more urban poppy kind of things like that. Show it in different ways. So send me a note if you can. All right, thanks. Be well. Shout outs. Let's do our shout outs from wherever you are. Oh, Bernie's already on it. Bernie, you're on it, my brother. Shout out from Switzerland, right on. Shout out. It's kind of smoky. There's fires around us. It's kind of sad still. It's thick in the air. It's really sad. San Diego, good to see you. Stockholm. Can I play something like a hip hop, EDM, or techno? I'm gonna stop where I am. I just get too deep into a hole if I keep going. I made it this time. D Hawk, good to see you. Glad you made it. Shout out from Atlanta, Ken and Camino Islands. I don't run up there, my friends. Dale in Texas. Hope you're safe there, Dale. You guys went through. No, it was New Orleans that really got hit hard then. Chicago, right on. Ohio. Ah, Kisaka-san. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. Shout out from Oregon, right on. Will in Copenhagen. Shane, wherever you are, shout out to you, my friend. I think you're back home and you're home. It's due time. I stopped the walkabout in the meantime. Good. Good to see you all. Hey, someone up in Quebec. You're up in Shane's neck of the woods. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. You're off by one, Sun Goddess. There we go. If we went into some, let's see. It's kind of, it's not EDM hip hop, but we could say. What's this going to do? Oh, I gotta go down octave. There you go. All right. See you guys later.